Hello and welcome to another 3-minute devotional. Today we're going to be hanging out in Matthew chapter 5. And we're actually going to be hanging out in here in Matthew chapter 5 for the next couple weeks, looking at a very specific group of scriptures that you may be familiar with, known as the Beatitudes. Before we jump in though, I want to give you a little bit of backstory of what's going on. See, Jesus taught these Beatitudes at the front end of one of the greatest sermons ever preached. Like the greatest sermon ever preached. It's so good. Matthew 5, 6, and 7. You gotta read it if you haven't. It's so good. But this message started, this teaching started when Jesus was surrounded by people bringing him the sick, the lame, the demon-possessed, and he was healing people left and right. It says every person that they brought to Jesus that needed healing got healed. And when Jesus noticed the crowds around him were growing, which is normal when you're healing everybody, the crowds are going to grow. When he noticed that, he went up on the mountainside and began to teach them. It's actually where we get the term Sermon on the Mount. And he began the greatest sermon ever in history with the Beatitudes, speaking blessing over people in certain situations and giving them little nuggets of hope. Today we're actually going to start with the first Beatitude, which is found in Matthew 5, verse 3. And it says this: "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." Now, I don't know about you, but sometimes I read over this one. I try to get to the other Beatitudes that are a little bit more engaging or a little bit more exciting. This one sometimes makes me feel a little uncomfortable. It's like, I don't want to be poor in spirit. But it's actually a really encouraging Beatitude. When I dug a little bit deeper today, looking at some of the definitions, I found that poor also is defined as lacking anything. Lacking anything. When I read that, I was so encouraged. You could reread the scripture itself, just plugging that in instead of poor, and it says this: "Blessed are those who are lacking anything in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." Now, I don't know about you, but when I look in the mirror, sometimes I notice that I'm lacking some things. Lately, it's been hair. But not just physical things. I look at myself and I see where I'm lacking, where I'm not reaching goals that I want, or I'm not hitting the mark that I think I should. But when I read this Beatitude, blessed are you when you're lacking anything, because the kingdom of heaven is still yours. I'm so encouraged, because even though I might feel like I'm lacking something, it doesn't mean that Jesus is walking away. You see, when you continue reading the next couple chapters, you find that the kingdom of heaven is Jesus. It's Him. And He doesn't lack anything. And He's there with us. So today, I want to encourage you with this. If you feel like you're lacking in any area of your life, be encouraged, because Jesus is there with you. And the kingdom of heaven is still yours. Thank you so much for joining me today for this 3-minute devotional. May you be blessed.